Good morning. This is David Bennett, and this is Bitcoin And, a podcast where I try to find the edge effect between the worlds of Bitcoin, gaming, permaculture, podcasting, and education to gain a better understanding of all. Edge effect is a concept from ecology describing a greater diversity of life where the edges of two systems overlap. While species from either system can be found at the edge, it is important to note there are species in the overlap that exist in neither system, and that is what I seek to uncover. So join me in discovering the variety of things being created as Bitcoin rubs up against other systems.
It is 9:38 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's the 6th day of December 2024. This is episode 1003 of Bitcoin, and we got a lot of stuff to cover, so we're going to jump right into it with the Czech Republic. Remember old Czechoslovakia? Before Czech Republic and Slovakia they kind of disintegrated. That was all part of pre-Iron Wall or the Berlin Wall coming down. We called it Czechoslovakia back in the day. But the Czech Republic has abolished their capital gains tax on Bitcoin held for at least 3 years. So some forward thinking over there in the old Czechoslovakia. Let's get this from Crypto Briefing, written by Vivian Nguyen, I believe is how you pronounce it. The Czech parliament has voted in favor of a proposed amendment that exempts capital gains tax from the sale of Bitcoin and other crypto assets from personal income tax, as shared by prominent financial analyst and entrepreneur Christian Kasper, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not really sure about that one. But according to Pavel Rusnak, co-founder of Satoshi Labs, the company behind the world-renowned Trezor hardware wallet, the amendment was passed by 169 votes on December the 6th, with nearly all parliamentarians backing it. Wow, that's some strong backing. Under the new policy, individuals will not be required to pay those shitty capital gains taxes on profits from Bitcoin and other assets or crypto assets if they meet two conditions. Total gross income from the crypto asset sales in a single tax year must not exceed 100,000 CZK. Let's just call it Czechoslovakian dollars or Czech dollars. I don't know what they're actually called. And the crypto assets must be held for more than 3 years. The exemption is similar to the existing exemption for securities. It has been part of ongoing discussions on comprehensive reforms in crypto taxation in the country. These reforms are intended to align with EU regulations and could further shape how digital assets are treated under Czech law. The Czech government aims to foster a more favorable environment for crypto investors, as well as participation in the crypto market. That's a little odd, because why do I say odd? Here, I'm just going to say it right. Read the sentence again. These reforms are intended to align with European Union regulations. How? Because that's not what's going on in France. Because France wants Bitcoin holders to pay taxes on unproductive wealth. This is out of Decrypt, written by Adrian Zmunsky. And this sounds a lot like unrealized capital gains tax. Let's find out. Earlier this week, French Senator Sylvie Vermillet proposed classifying Bitcoin and other digital assets as, quote, unproductive, arguing that they should be taxed like luxury items and vacant properties. The bill in question clarifies cryptocurrencies as unproductive assets for the 2025 budget, meaning that taxes will be imposed on, you guessed it, unrealized capital gains if they exceed 800,000 euro. Paris-based Alice Stork, founder of Web3 public relations agency ICL, told Decrypt that a Bitcoin tax on unrealized gains is worrying and feels pretty out of touch with how volatile crypto markets are. What happens when the value of your holdings drops after you've already paid taxes on the gains that you never cashed out? According to her, the measure could push innovators and businesses away from France. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. But so far, the proposal has passed the Senate in a preliminary vote and has been endorsed by the country's finance minister, Laurent Saint-Martin. The finance minister claimed that the change to how Bitcoin gains are taxed makes the system more balanced. If passed, and I don't know how because their entire government collapsed a couple of days ago, but whatever, if passed, French cryptocurrency holders would have to report for foreign cryptocurrency holdings annually in the CERFA 3916/BIS form. Fines for failing to report crypto holdings abroad would range from 750 to 1,500 euro. Sebastian Martin, the CEO and co-founder of French crypto risk management firm Raid Square, told Decrypt that because Vermiliot is vice president of the Senate, one of the two chambers of the French parliament, which again is completely fucking collapsed, he's a heavyweight in the nation's politics. Oh, well, good for him. Maybe he can fix the completely destroyed French government of the Fifth Republic of France. But Martin added that he is also a member of Parti Radical, France's oldest political party and part of the political party supporting the policy led by the French president Emmanuel Macron. France's interest in levying taxes on Bitcoin holders follows other crypto regulation efforts. As Decrypt reported in early November, France's National Gaming Authority is reportedly planning to block Polymarket. Oh no! This blockchain-based prediction market platform saw $3.5 billion in trading volume during the U.S. presidential election, but after receiving scrutiny from regulators there, it has blocked French users. And this summer, Bitcoin exchange Bybit announced that it decided to leave the French market altogether due to regulatory developments following Europe's long-awaited MiCA crypto legislation being implemented. This follows a major regulator warning citizens that Bybit was operating outside of country regulations and had been blacklisted in 2022. France also recently attracted the ire of privacy advocates after law enforcement arrested Telegram founder Pavel Durov and indicted him on multiple charges. The accusations are that he allowed drug trafficking, organized fraud, and the dissemination of pornographic content involving minors on his company's Telegram app. Of course, because it's always about the children. You want to wrap something up in a nice big bow? Well, make sure you use child sex trafficking as the wrapping paper, because otherwise it just doesn't hold any water, right? Right. Critics suggested the arrest was politically motivated, but French President Emmanuel Macron denied the claims. So, again, going back to the Czech Republic situation, how is it that that comes in line with EU regulations, not having any capital gains tax at all on the sale of Bitcoin up to 100,000 Czech dollars, whatever the hell those are. And then we have France that calls the entire asset class an unproductive asset and wants to tax your ass on unrealized gains. This something is not right here about, I think I'm going to say that it's that first story. I don't know what the hell's going on, but something seems wrong about that story. I don't think not having capital gains tax is aligned with the European Union's communistic and socialistic leanings that we are obviously seeing. And we've been seeing this happen to the European Union for, 15 years, probably a lot longer, probably since the inception of the EU, which is God only knows when those poor dumb sons of bitches had to go through that. But for whatever reason, not having capital gains tax is not in alignment with EU policies. I'm just going to go ahead and state it because that's just the way it looks. But the Circle P is open for business, and today I'm bringing you theleathermint.com. That's theleathermint.com. Do you need a wallet? Do you need a belt? Are you in need of some kind of leather good that is built from the finest quality grain leathers that you can get? Well, look no further, ladies and gentlemen, theleathermint.com. You can get a hold of Leather Mint on Nostr at Leather Mint, or on Deadbird's site or Twitter at The Leather Mint, MINT. And the coupon code is Bitcoin and. If you put that into the coupon code, you'll get 10% off. And that way, that also lets the owner of Leather Mint know that I was able to sell one of his products, or maybe you'll buy 4 or 5 for Christmas, from the Bitcoin and podcast and the Circle P. And then maybe he will cut me some Satoshis on the back end for giving him a little bit of airtime that he didn't have to pay for up front. This is a value for value proposition. It's the Circle P. It is here to try to do its part in igniting the Bitcoin circular economy, because the Leather Mint sells all of their goods for Bitcoin. If you don't sell your goods for Bitcoin, you're not in the Circle P. Okay, we had just talked about Polymarket being banned in France, right? Well, so happens, I went over to Polymarket today to see what the percentage rate, or who was betting on whether or not the Federal Reserve was going to raise rates or lower rates on, I believe they're meeting the FOMAC meeting is December the 13th or December the 16th. I can't, well, look, we're back over 100,000. Woohoo! Yay! Let's party until we go back below 99,000. Oh, before I get into this Polymarket thing, there was a guy who was asking me, wait a minute, hold on, I might actually have it. Let me make sure I don't have it. No, I don't have it up here. Somebody was asking me on Nostr, because I made a meme or something like that. I responded to this guy with a meme saying, basically, who's going to tell him that we may not have to celebrate? Oh, I think he said, if we hit $100,000 again, do we have to celebrate one more time? And I was like, dude, who's going to tell the guy? And if you've been in this space for long enough, you know what I'm talking about. So when he said, I don't understand what you're talking about, and he probably did, he's just probably egging me on. So I responded with yet another meme. And this was a meme of Mr. Miyagi showing Daniel's son paint the fence. Up, down, back straight, up, down. I get the feeling we're going to go through $100,000 5 times. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm embarrassing myself right now by being so freakishly wrong. I hope we hit $250,000 by the end of the day, but I'm actually going to make the call. We're going to go below 100 and above 100 5 full times, which includes the first time. So now we're back above 100,000 at $100,844. We're going to go back below 100 and then back up and then back below again and then back up and then back below one more time. And then we're going to get up and then we're going to stay up. It's going to take 5 bitch slaps for us to be able to recognize, hey, it's the best asset in the universe. Now, getting back to the Polymarket thing, I was unable to find any bets as to whether or not the Fed was going to raise or lower rates or keep them neutral come this next December FOMAC meeting, either on the 13th or the 16th. But you know what I did find? I did find the bets on which Trump picks will be confirmed. Now, here's the nice thing about Polymarket is that when you go, and I don't bet, I don't use it to bet, don't be degenerate, but I have learned my lesson after the election this cycle. I'm going to start looking at Polymarket as sort of one form of oracle, that maybe, just maybe, that they were so right about a whole bunch of things that maybe I was a little bit short-sighted in thinking that Polymarket serves no purpose but degeneracy. I'm going to eat crow and start looking at Polymarket. But what's nice is that sometimes they are able to group in like whole sets of bets under like one window. And that's what they've done with this one. So this one category that is on the front page of Polymarket says which Trump picks will be confirmed. And then there's like, I don't know, 20, right? There's 20 picks. Like Pete Hegseth has a 31% chance of being confirmed. He's the only one of Trump's picks under 50%. Tulsi Gabbard, 56%. Kash Patel, 70% chance of being confirmed. RFK Jr., 69%. Lori Chavez DeReamer, 86. Brooke Rollins, 89. John Ratcliffe, 94. Mike Huckabee, 96%. Elise Stefanik, 96. And I'm just going to read the rest of them. 94%, 93%, 94%, 93%, 94, 94, 95, and 95%. Every single one of Trump's picks, except for Pete Hegseth, Polymarket is thinking that they're going to be confirmed. And if Polymarket is even close to being as right as it was all along about Trump winning the presidency, this is going to be one hell of a wild ride. So again, there's only two people on this list that Tulsi Gabbard at 56%, that doesn't seem to be high enough for me to say, yeah, she's probably going to get in. Pete Hegseth is probably not going to get in, but all the rest of Trump's picks probably going to be confirmed. So just be aware that if you have Orange Man derangement syndrome, right? What would that be? AMDS. If you have AMDS or OMDS, then you're probably not going to have a good time. I'm just saying. And speaking of Trump, I got this one from The Block, written by Sarah Wynn. Former Federal Reserve Bank President Bill Dudley slams Trump's federal Bitcoin reserve proposal in a Bloomberg op-ed. Yay! Let's see what this guy's got to say about it. President-elect Donald Trump's support behind creating a federal Bitcoin reserve is a terrible deal for Americans. Oh my God. According to former president of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, Bill Dudley. A Bitcoin reserve could fuel inflation. And wouldn't be of value to the government, Dudley said Friday in an opinion article published on Bloomberg. Dudley was president of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York from 2009 to 2018. Damn, 9 full years, bro. And was previously a chief economist. Oh no, at Goldman Sachs. We should listen to this, man. Quote, "What's in it, though, for the government or for the people who don't hold Bitcoin? Nothing good," Dudley wrote. Quote, "There's no exit strategy. So the purpose must be to push prices higher, not create value for the government, which would be stuck holding volatile tokens that produce no income." I'm sorry, I didn't see anything in the Constitution of the United States that says an instrument of any magnitude, of any form, fashion, way, or shape has to create value for the government. No, you're here to create value for me. That's your entire existence. Everything about what the United States government is to create value for me. I'm very selfish this way. I do not give a flying fuck if the United States government has value created for itself. That's not its job. And here we have a chief economist at Goldman Sachs who then went over to the Federal Reserve and he got all his economic degrees, and he still doesn't understand the basic function of the government of a people. It's sad, but this is what we're up against, ladies and gentlemen. To buy a Bitcoin, the Treasury Department would have to borrow, or the Federal Reserve would need to create money, Dudley added. Yeah, that's the whole point, dipshit. Trump said at a July conference that he would create a national Bitcoin reserve, and since being elected on November the 5th, the price of Bitcoin has reached new heights, surpassing a record $100,000 on Thursday and again today. Trump is not alone in his endeavors to create a Bitcoin reserve. Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming has a draft bill circulating that would direct the U.S. Treasury to buy 1 million Bitcoin over a period of 5 years. Brian Hughes, a Trump-Vance transition spokesperson, pushed back on Dudley's op-ed and said that the president-elect would support crypto and other technologies in an emailed statement to the bloc. Quote, "There has been an effort in the Washington bureaucratic swamp to stifle innovation with more regulation and higher taxes. Woohoo! But President Trump will deliver on his promise to encourage American leadership in crypto and other emerging technologies, Hughes said. Lummis has said such a reserve would bolster the position of the United States dollar in the financial system, according to a copy of the draft version. Lummis didn't immediately respond to a request for comment, but instead of creating a Bitcoin reserve, Dudley said the incoming Trump administration should work on regulations and laws for the crypto industry. Quote, define legislatively whether tokens are currencies or securities and who regulates them. Set rules to protect consumers and to prohibit use for criminal activities such as, you guessed it, terrorist financing and illicit drug sales. Jesus, it's like a broken record. Work has been underway in Congress to regulate stablecoins and crypto at large, and those bills would have to be reintroduced in the new year. Okay, so what I've just lost all respect, any admiration I ever had, and any amount of respect for any of these people. I really did. I grew up thinking that there was just no way that I'd be smart enough to understand economics, that I'm just some dipshit pleb walking around out there like a fucking zombie who doesn't know anything. And what I finally discovered through Bitcoin is that I have an inherent power to understand this shit, because it's not rocket science. It's not quantum mechanics. It's not theoretical physics. It's not, like having to unplug the mind of Stephen Hawking and shove it into my head so that I can understand what's really going on in a black hole that is the size of an entire galaxy and what kind of forces are at work. No, it's not that. It's not that. And they've just hammered it into us that us poor dumb son bitches just don't have the mental prowess to be able to understand these things. And yet the more I read from these idiots, the more I lose all respect, any admiration. I used to admire these people for going through, like being, given a degree from Harvard in economics. And I'm like, oh my God, he must know so much. Clearly, this is not the case. This person doesn't understand economics at all. The only thing this person and people like him understand are the economics that they have fraudulently created and pushed over on the citizenry of the world to steal their money. It is an entire gangster organization. It doesn't matter if you're France, the United States, Canada, Mexico. It doesn't fucking matter. It is a criminal organization. It acts like a criminal organization. It smells like a criminal organization. And it does everything that I expect from a criminal organization. And yet we just bow down to it without thinking once, twice, or thrice. It's sad. And I don't know what to do about it, except to buy Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin, because BlackRock, Mara Holdings are doing just that. Nearly 10,000 Bitcoin scooped up as price retreats by these guys. Braden Lindria, Cointelegraph, Bitcoin stacking firms. I'm a Bitcoin stacking firm. Anyway, Bitcoin stacking firms BlackRock and Mara Holdings bought a combined 9,173 Bitcoin, while an unknown whale scooped up 600 as the cryptocurrency's price fell to $92,957 on December the 5th. If you got the plug pulled on you, they got your Bitcoin. BlackRock bought a whopping 7,750 Bitcoin as buyers scooped up shares of its spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund, taking the firm's total Bitcoin holdings to $48.9 billion at current prices. Quote, fastest growing ETF ever, said Thomas Farrar, founder of crypto markets firm Apollo, which tracks the spot Bitcoin ETF market. Meanwhile, Bitcoin miner Mara Holdings bought 1,423 worth $139.5 million across 4 transactions between December the 5th and December the 6th. The Bitcoin purchases followed the closing of Mara's second $850 million convertible note offering, which it said it would use to accumulate more Bitcoin. What are the chances? The coincidence is beautiful. No, I'm not actually accusing Mara of making sure that the market dumps so that they can buy cheap Bitcoin. I'm not saying that it's not impossible. It very much is possible. But I don't know, and I'm not actually suggesting that, although honestly it really wouldn't surprise me one single bit. Mara now holds 22,108 Bitcoin, worth $2.17 billion. In the third quarter, Mara shifted to a new treasury policy to retain all Bitcoin it mines and adopt a range of capital market instruments to bolster its Bitcoin reserves, similar to MicroStrategy's Bitcoin playbook. But meanwhile, an anonymous crypto whale seems to also have taken advantage of everybody's fear. And on December the 5th, snared 600 Bitcoin worth almost $58.9 million, Look On Chain noted in a separate X post. No Bitcoin was held in the whale's wallet address until its first transaction on November the 24th. And just a day earlier, healthcare tech firm Similar Scientific bought another 303 Bitcoin at an average price of $96,779 on December the 4th, several hours before Bitcoin surpassed the $100,000 milestone. Wow. Amazing. Governments hold 2,856 Bitcoin, while asset management firms and private firms hold 1,253 and 410,000 respectively. Bitcoin was trading at 97,000. Yeah, well, we know right now it's at 100,704. So it's retreating a bit from this last candle that we saw. I'm telling you, we're going to have to bitch slap this thing 5 times before it holds. I'm just saying, let's run the numbers. CNBC futures commodities, oil taking it on the chin this morning, 1.22% to the downside, $67.47. Everybody's worried about this upcoming OPEC meeting where they want to hang on to their production cuts because, I don't know, reasons. They're just, well, I know why. Saudi Arabia and the rest of OPEC, they just aren't able to get as much money as they want. And if they increase production, it's going to crash the oil prices even further. There's a sweet spot in oil prices. When you look at West Texas Intermediate, it's somewhere between $68 a barrel and $98 a barrel. Within that window, things actually work. But you get on the downside of that, and wells start shutting in, and people get laid off, and all kinds of shit happens. But if you get above that, it causes pressures on shipping. It causes pressures on manufacturing. Prices rise everywhere. And guess what happens? You actually end up losing some oil production because some of these guys can't afford to be paid. It's like, I'm telling you, I grew up in the oil patch. I've seen this shit before. There's always these windows. Going below the low side is bad. Going above the high side is also bad, just in a different way, but it ends up resulting in sort of the same shit. Saudi Arabia and the rest of OPEC, they can't afford to cut anymore because they're not going to make as much money. But they also can't raise their production because if they do, they're going to crash the price, make the same amount of money, and you're going to see all hell break loose. So OPEC has found themselves in the middle of the shit, which means that right now, the oil futures traders are actually winning, and they're betting short. So Brent North Sea is also down a full point to 71.35. Natural gas in the opposite direction by a half point to $3.09 a thousand, and gold is up a third. Silver is sideways. Platinum is down almost a point. Copper also sideways, and palladium down almost a full point. Ag is, wow, there's a lot of green in ag today. Coffee futures up 5.22%. That's the biggest winner. The biggest loser is cotton, 1.36% to the downside. And then you got live cattle up 0.12%, lean hogs up over 1.25%, and then feeder cattle are up 2/3 of a point, while the Dow is down a third. The S&P is up 0.11%. NASDAQ is up 0.72%, and the S&P Mini is down 0.16%. Bitcoin at $101,400. That is just over a $2 trillion market cap, and we can get 38.5 ounces of shiny metal rocks with our one Bitcoin, of which there are 19,792,083.36 of. Average fees per block are 0.1 Bitcoin on average per block on a per block basis. And there are 111 blocks carrying 269,000 unconfirmed transactions waiting to clear at high priority rates of 11 Satoshis per VByte. Low priority is going to get you in for 9, and the hash rate looks to be 767.4 exahashes per second on a rolling 1 week average. Now, it's value for value time. I try to do it with everything that I do. The Circle P, the fact that I don't have any advertisers. Of course, then again, the show's probably small enough that the advertisers don't really see me. But I'm just going to take the win and say it's because of my morality. It's because of my ethics that I only want to do value for value. And that's where you send me your value if you find what I do valuable for you. And there's a couple of people that have done that for the $100,000 Bitcoin entitled episode, which was yesterday's episode of Bitcoin. And I got BTCB Rancher with 500 Satoshi says, congrats on 1,000 and the first 4-digit palindrome episode. You are my number one go-to app and the one I recommend to others getting started in BTC. Oh, thank you. Here's to another 1,000 episodes. And by the way, guys, you can help make that happen if you give me boostograms like this and you cut me some Satoshis on a per minute basis using any one of a number of podcasting 2.0 enabled apps like Fountain app, which is what Pies used to give me 100 sats. And he says, thank you, sir. No, thank you. And that's it. I got hosed on donations, probably because you guys came out in force for episode 999, episode 1000, and episode 1001, which has put me at the top show. I'm the top show on Fountain charts, and I've got 2 shows in the top 10 on Fountain charts as well. So I guess I really shouldn't bitch all that much. That's the weather report. Welcome to part 2 of the news you can use. Corn DeLorean, my friend on Nostr, dropped a meme, and inside that meme, it contains a picture of a screenshot from Simply Bitcoin over on Deadbird site. And it's just a snapshot of a tweet that Simply Bitcoin put out. And it says that Rumble CEO wants to tip content creators on platform using Bitcoin. And Simply Bitcoin has a screenshot himself inside that tweet that shows the Rumble CEO on Fox Business News, I guess. And it says Rumble to invest up to 20 million in Bitcoin. So I tried to see if there was anything written up about this. I couldn't find it, but I'm going to trust Simply Bitcoin. They've never really steered me wrong. But as for breaking news, I guess that kind of fits the bill. Of course, we've been doing this shit on Nostr and Podcasting 2.0 for like ever. And it's just now that Rumble's getting into the game or wants to figure out how to do it. Geez, just use Nostr. Do what Fountain did. Do what Oscar Mary did and what Fountain did, and strip out your entire social side of your thing. Actually, you don't even have to strip it out. Just build up a really good bridge. Hire Alex Gleason. He knows how to build bridges between the social parameter or the social networks of one system to the social networks of another system. And you don't have to do what Oscar Mary did. You can simply just get a hold of a whole bunch of Nostr developers, and I guarantee you give them enough money, they will figure out how to make Zaps work on Rumble. But meanwhile, we've got scammers in our midst, and her name is Haley Welch. She may get charged You might wonder who Haley Welch is. Sometimes you just got to put some spit on that thing. You know, hot Tueh. Yeah, the hot Tueh girl. Well, potential charges for Haley Welch if the SEC probes the Hawk launch, because she actually hawked it up and threw a shitcoin out there. And the disastrous launch of influencer Haley Welch's Hawk Tueh meme coin this week was marred by allegations of sniping and insider trading, with the token plunging 91% in just 3 hours. Welch has denied the claims, obviously. However, if the United States Securities and Exchange Commission or the Department of Justice decide to investigate, Welch and her team, I did not realize that she had a team, could face significant legal scrutiny. According to Yurij Brizov, partner at law firm Digital and Analog Partners, the SEC can pursue civil charges for securities fraud, alleging misrepresentation or deceit in the sales of securities if Hawk qualifies as a security under the Howey test. The DOJ might consider criminal charges like wire fraud or money laundering, especially if there's evidence of international deception or intentional deception or financial misconduct. On December the 4th, that was just 2 short days ago, Welch launched the Hawk meme coin, which briefly surged to a peak value of $490 million. That's total market cap, not per coin. But before plummeting over 90% to $30 million in a few hours. Sorry. The launch was marred by allegations of insider trading, as well as having a supply allegedly controlled almost entirely by a small number of addresses, fee extortion, and sniping. No, I don't know what sniping is. So if you know what sniping is, throw me a boostagram. Tell me what it is. Brizov said, whether the allegations constitute insider trading depends on whether the token is classified as a security. Quote, insider trading traditionally involves securities based on material, non-public information, breaching a duty of trust or confidence. In the context of cryptocurrencies, the legal framework is still evolving. If Welch's team possessed non-public information about the token's launch or had prearranged strategies to sell significant portions of the supply leading to the token's price collapse, such actions could be scrutinized under fraud or market manipulation statutes. End quote. Welch publicly denied any insider trading activity on behalf of her team or any affiliated key opinion leaders, or KOLs. Key opinion leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Like a KPI with your KOL and your CMI and whatever other alphabet soup we got. Quote, the team hasn't sold one token, and not one KOL was given one free token, she said in a December 5th post on Twitter. Quote, we tried to stop snipers as best we could through high fees in the start of launch on Meteora, end quote. However, aggregated data from Dex Screener and Solana Block Explorer SoulScan shows a string of more than 80 wallet addresses that had not purchased the token, suggesting that they were allocated tokens before the launch, pre-mine, all of which sold their Hawk holdings for between $10,000 and $365,000 in profit. Joni Perovich, a crypto lawyer at a law firm Betas, told Cointelegraph that any evidence of trading on insider knowledge would add to the severity of any future legal repercussions for Welch and her team. Quote, profiting from insider knowledge is a serious legal issue itself. I'm pausing because all I can think of is Nancy Pelosi. That's, and Elizabeth Warren. I'm sorry. I'm stuck because that instantly pissed me straight the fuck off. You know they're insider trading, yet they get to do it. They're fine. They're fine. But you little pleb do it. Oh, no, we can't have that shit. Rules for thee, not for me. Anyway, profiting from insider knowledge is such a serious legal issue. but unknowingly lying to or misleading the public adds to the severity of what has occurred and what has been alleged, Perovich said. Liability for a meme coin launch hinges on how the SEC treats crypto assets on U.S. soil. And currently, most crypto tokens are de facto treated as securities by the Gary Gensler-led SEC, which means that anyone issuing a token would need to register with the agency beforehand. However, the status of meme coins is not clear. It's just an altcoin. Just because it's launched with a name that looks like the Hawk, Hawk Tueh. Hawk Tueh is a meme. I get it. But the coin itself is physically no different than something like Litecoin. It's either a Sol token or an ERC20. It doesn't have a special architecture that makes it a meme coin. It's the same shit. And yet the regulators are having difficulty seeing this. Again, I'm losing all respect and any admiration I ever had for people in power because they can't see the fucking obvious. It's a ridiculous state of events. Though meme coins often lack intrinsic value or traditional asset backing, they could be deemed as securities if marketed in a way that leads investors to expect profits from the promoter's efforts, Breesoff said. Now, here is the definition from the Howey Act, which gave us the Howey test on how you test whether or not something is a security. And there's 3 parts of that test. This is one of those parts. Reasonable expectation of profits derived from efforts of others. I'll read it again. If you have a thing and you allow people to believe that they have a reasonable expectation of profits derived from the efforts of my management team, it's most likely a security. Now, there's 2 other points to this, but this is the one that really brings home the bacon on whether or not something is a security. Continuing on, Catherine Umi, a junior partner at crypto law firm On-Chain Advisors, said that if allegations are proven and the tokens are securities, then a list of potential legal violations may include inadequate disclosure charges, failing to register as a broker, unregistered broker-dealer activity, violations of the Investment Advisors Act, and if the team failed to adhere to AML KYC laws, then they could also be charged under the Bank Secrecy Act and the Patriot Act. They could destroy this chick's life. This is why you don't ever jack around with this crap. Umi also said that there's the possibility that the Justice Department could get involved in any potential criminal charges, noting the recent involvement of the agency in charging the founder of the Bitcoin Fog crypto mixer to 12.5 years in prison. Quote, the SEC can also enforce civil penalties, and investors may then file a class action lawsuit, she added. We don't really need anything else out of this story. There's a 4 or 5 more paragraphs, but this is how serious this shit is. So what happened? Drunk chick on a street, hanging out with her drunk ass friend, kind of pretty, actually probably a little hot, in their 20s, probably like early 20s. Going bar hopping. That's what it looked like to me. And this dude with a microphone just walks up to him and starts asking this one girl a question about certain things. And then all of a sudden, this girl who was not asked the question basically photobombed and said, sometimes you just got to spit on that thing, hawk to it. And a meteoric rise of an influencer was born with this chick named Haley. Now, I've never met her. I don't know her. I don't follow her. I don't know any of the other things she said, so I have no sense whatsoever what kind of a person that she is. But I get the feeling that she started getting contacted by shitcoiners saying, hey, you know what we could do? We could wrap this whole thing into a coin and sell it to people and make a shit ton of money. She's 22, maybe 23 years old. I mean, I doubt seriously that she has the economic education from Princeton or Harvard or something like that. She probably has never even heard of the Howey test. What is a security? Is that like a stock and bond? I mean, most people are functionally illiterate when it comes to economics and financial legacy markets. It's not our fault. The only reason I know a damn thing about it is because of Bitcoin, and all I can do is say thank you to Bitcoin so that I'm now not a complete moron. But I doubt seriously that this chick knows any of the ramifications that was going on in her mind when she was being talked to by other people about. Because I guarantee you she probably didn't know how to spin up an ERC20 token or whatever the hell this thing is. It's probably a Sol coin or whatever because it's on Solana. I'm just saying that I don't think this was her machination. I think she got hosed, and I think she's going to go down for it. This is not a good situation. Please, I'm begging you, stop buying shit like Ether. But David, it's going up. It hit 4,000. So what? It's shit. It doesn't do anything but allow people like this poor Haley chick to get her ass in trouble because somebody started telling her how she was going to be able to be rich. And now she may end up in fucking prison. See, this is why I hate cryptocurrency. Well, you're a Bitcoiner. Yes, I am. But I cannot stand cryptocurrency because it doesn't mean what it's supposed to mean. It means this circus tent filled with gambling instruments that do nothing but destroy people's lives. It just destroys lives. And it's probably going to destroy this chick's life too. We'll have to wait and see. But in either event, let's get into a couple of updates here. OLAS version 0.1.5 swipe to zap functionality has now been introduced by the man who never sleeps, Pablo F7Z. And if you don't know, OLAS is an Instagram-like Nostr client for iOS and Android. Quote, the ship train doesn't stop at 100K. OLAS 0.1.5 for Android shipped, announced Pablo F7Z, and the latest update includes Nostr Wallet Connect Zaps and introduces a swipe to zap feature. It also enables repost and incorporates various performance optimizations. Additionally, the swipe to zap functionality is compatible with NIP60 nutsacks. Think eCash. Quote, this is massively lowering the barrier to entry to come to Nostr. Publish some pics and earn some money. No pairing, no download this other wallet, no set up your LN address to receive zaps. It just works, said Pablo F7Z. So swipe to zap is going to be interesting to see. I have yet to try OLAS. I'm very sorry, Pablo. I'm a huge user of a lot of your stuff, but I have not used OLAS, so I can't really report on it. But I've got to tell you, if it works the way that people are saying it works, this is going to be this could be big. It could be a very big help to the Nostr community. But Kid Warp, my friend Kid Warp, who always joins me when I do his app.stream of this show, he says, wait, what? And then posts a picture on Nostr of one of these robot dogs, and then the other picture shows these two cops bending down next to this very small robot dog. The caption underneath reads, this is not the cyberpunk we expected. Further, in Moscow, police detained a robot dog that worked as a drug courier. It carried an advertisement for a store selling illegal substances and the substances themselves in containers. After the cops arrived, the robot suddenly turned itself off and turned off all signal lights, and then went into a self-defense mode by destroying internal information, including the geodata of the route that it had been on. Yeah. So there's a lot of people are freaked out about drones and these robots. And I get you. But we're going to open source this thing just like we open source the internet. And it is not going to take us 35 years to figure out that's what we should be doing before we end up with silos. because you don't want drones and robots siloed. So here's my prediction. That's never going to happen because we're going to open source the living daylights out of robots and drones. Not just the construction, but the operating systems, sensor systems, the way geodata is done, the whole 9 yards, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have open source everything. Because if we don't, then it's going to be only the cops, only the military, only the city, state, county, and federal authorities of countries around the world that will hold the keys to that tech. We need to start now, right now, by open sourcing robotics and dronage. Now, I'm not advocating for selling illegal drugs. Because, I mean, selling heroin to a 12-year-old is not something that I want to see done. All right, but honestly, I don't really think that the majority of humanity is out to sell 12-year-olds heroin. I really don't. I think there are some individuals out there that suck ass and they should be dropped in a hole in the ground and have a fucking tree planted on top of their head and they can sit down there and rot for the rest of their lives for all I give a shit. But that's not the majority of humanity. But I will tell you this, the majority of psychopaths can be found in one place, places of power. And if they're allowed to be the only people that construct the operating systems and sensory systems, construction methods for drones and robots, then we got ourselves a big problem. And like I said, and I've always said this about Bitcoin, and now I'm going to start saying it about drones and robots. If it cannot be used to move illegal substances that people think have value, and I'm thinking drugs, hookers, and gambling, even though I don't like, well, it's not that I don't like hookers. I mean, I support working moms. I'm just saying I don't want to go visit them. I don't need a hooker. I'm married, I have kids, and I don't gamble because I think it's a dumb idea. And I've done my share of drugs, and honestly, ladies and gentlemen, they don't do a whole lot for you except screw up your life. Now, I don't include psilocybin and like other, LSD type things. If done right, yes, I believe they can be mind expansive, but I'm just saying drugs in general. Okay. Let's just drugs in general. Now, if my drug dealer, if I'm doing drugs and I have a dealer and he takes Bitcoin for the drugs, that means Bitcoin has value. If a drug dealer is going to use a robot or a drone to deliver the drugs, then that means that the drone or the delivery system has an actual value. And that's when that's exactly when that robots and drones actually do have value. And they do. And I hear many people say, we need to get rid of them. We need to make them illegal. Well, that's never going to happen, so I'm sorry for you. Since that's not going to happen, then we need to figure out how to take it over ourselves, like we're doing with Bitcoin for finance, legacy financial markets, the economy, money, like we're doing it with Nostr, which is completely replacing all of legacy media. And now we need to add one more thing, and this time it's in the physical meat space of robotics, dronage, and marry it with what we already know best how to do. Open source coding. Just saying. Now, ARC version 0.4.0, new address encoding, ARC notes, and market hours has been released. ARC is a layer 2 protocol designed to scale Bitcoin transactions. We're pleased to announce the release of ARC version 0.4, and the update brings new features. So what's new? Well, there's new address encoding. And that's a significant update to the address encoding format, now encoding the VTXO output script, which is also called taproot key and server public key instead of user and server public keys. This allows users to generate custom addresses offering brand new possibilities. There are ARC notes, which allow users who are not online often to represent and transfer off-chain balances. They can be sent digitally or printed, offering both a tangible and flexible transfer method. It kind of works like this. 1, Clients can share a Nostr public key profile for each of their VTXOs. 2, when users go offline, the server will print notes worth their unspent swept VTXOs. And 3, users can restore their off-chain balances when they come back online in the future. And then there's market hours, which are inspired by traditional markets where buyers and sellers meet at scheduled times. ARC Market Hours aims to improve network efficiency and reduce costs. And then there are some server improvements. Ladies and gentlemen, this seems fucking huge. ARC is something that I've been looking forward to ever since I heard it announced. And when I first heard about it, it was marketed sort of as a different way to do Lightning that didn't depend on a new Lightning user having to fumble the football trying to figure out how to get incoming as well as outgoing liquidity. It just would do it, right? So now it looks like it's going full gangbusters with new address encoding. I mean, being able to generate your own custom address, this is freaking awesome. Being able to print your balance out so that you can essentially like re-enable your wallet when you come back online, that's huge. Market hours, not sure about that one, but hey, it's not the only thing under the sun because we still have BitKit version 1.0.7 to get through, and that offers quick pay for faster payments. BitKit is a self-custodial Bitcoin and Lightning wallet for Android as well as iOS. Quote, we are thrilled to announce that BitKit Quick Pay is now available to everyone in our latest release of the BitKit. This innovative feature takes the speed of the Lightning Network payments to the next level, allowing you to breeze through small transactions instantly, said the project. Quick Pay allows BitKit users to set a custom threshold between $0 and $50. This amount will be paid automatically upon scanning an invoice without the need to swipe or approve the payment. Users can adjust the limit or disable the feature as needed, and that looks to be about it for that. And finally, bill pay your way. That's right. And what is that? Well, it's from Strike, and they have announced Strike Bill Pay, and I'm going to read this particular section from their blog post about it. It says, pay bills your way. Use your Bitcoin or cash balance to pay bills automatically with Strike. Pay your bills directly from Strike with your unique account and routing numbers. Choose either Bitcoin or cash as your default payment source and let your billers automatically pull funds when payments are due. To get started, tap the account icon and scroll to Bill Pay. Generate payment details where your unique Strike account and routing numbers are automatically generated inside the app. And number 2, you can set your payment source. You can choose cash or Bitcoin. Number 3, you add to your biller. In other words, you're entering the account and routing number into your biller's platform. The name of your bill must match your Strike account. Now, number 4 is the automatic payments. And this is a pull system, so this is not Bitcoin, right? You can use Bitcoin, but Strike works a different way. It works like a traditional bank or possibly a credit card, depending on how you want to look at it. Bitcoin is a push system. You don't get it unless I send it to you, right? A pull system is like a credit card or automatic payments for your bank, where you could be asleep and somebody just takes money from your account because you authorize them to do that. And that's what this kind of shit is. So automatic payments, your bills are paid from your default balance when charged to your biller or by your biller. And you can easily switch between Bitcoin and cash balances. Strike uses your available balance to pay bills. And since bank deposits can typically take 3 to 5 days to complete, you need to ensure that you have sufficient funds to cover any bills while you wait for funds to deposit. You learn more about Bill Pay and how to set it up at these 2 links. So Strike, and that's Jack Mallers' outfit, it used to be called Zap. Long time ago, before Nostr, we're talking, Jesus, 2018, 2017, 2018, Jack Mallers started talking about Zap. And that was the name before he changed it to Strike. Actually, I think he changed it to something else and then changed that to Strike. But now we have Strike. But understand, the word Zap when we're zapping people. Well, you might want to thank Jack Mallers for that, because he was the one that actually had the word zap going for a business that was all about lightning before most people figured out what the hell lightning even was. Okay, so Strike, if you're unaware, is Jack Mallers' outfit. It can connect to your bank. You can send Bitcoin or cash instantly to other Strike users, and now they've got bill pay. If you are on a Bitcoin standard or want to figure out a way to get on a Bitcoin standard where all you deal with is Bitcoin, and you can let the rest of the world deal with whatever fiat bullshit that they want to deal with, then consider using Strike. I have it. I've used it. It's fine. I have yet to use it for bill pay. So understand that. I'm trying to be transparent. I've used it for buying Bitcoin. I've used it for sending Bitcoin. I've used it for a couple of things, but I've never actually used it for bill pay. But for the things that I have used Strike for, works fine. And that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. We are right at an hour. I'm not going to belabor it. We are at $101,244.20, and I'll see you on the other side of it.
This has been Bitcoin and I'm your host, David Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and hope to see you again real soon. Have a great day.